This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with that prize guy. I'm delighted to be joined with a hammer. Padraig McCrory has obviously just announced his second show as a promoter. Padraig, I guess, probably the best way to sort of learn from sort of the first time around, obviously all the issues and stuff you had is to go back in when the fire's hot. You've announced your second show, fresh blood.
Yeah. It was in the pipeline for a few weeks now. Fresh blood, as as like the title says, it's all the new guys coming through. It's in association with the feile as well. I'm a conlan sports, and we're looking for that next guy who's going to bring bring the feile back to the park, back to the falls park.
It's like an addition, sort of, in some ways. Like obviously, when you look at the poster, but the poster it obviously doesn't look like there's any standout name sort of there as the main event. Like it's sort of an addition of going, you know, who wants to be main event? Maybe the old school way of, maybe saying to them here, look, whoever sells the most tickets for this card, you can be main event, sort of in some ways. So like the options there, it's like an addition, it's like an X Factor edition for them to go, who wants to be the main event of this card?
Well, I think the two main lads there are a bit more established in Alin and Jack O'Neill. So both them lads are going to win to six rounders. And then the rest, there's two debutantes, Big Lax, who I'm yet to announce as my new signing, but he is now officially with Hammer Boxing. So Big Lax Weston, former Ulster Elite champion, a great fighter. He reminds myself of me. He's starting in the game late. He can bang with the right hand. I've seen him drop people. I've seen him fight a few times now. So I think he may need to be moved faster than a few others, but it's a good start for him. At the Devenish on a 6 fight card. And as I say, working alongside Jamie and the feile, it's a good platform. So and you have David McKeaveney as well, who is with the inn. He's with the inn Gopper, and he's from the road. He works down the street. I think he works in the Alleytown Irish Centre, so it's a stone throw away. Jennings, who done really well in his debut in his last fight. I thought he was brilliant. I thought he boxed really well. He looked composed, and he done good tickets. So it's a great card. Um, Ideally, we can get a couple more fights on the card, but that's that will be dealt with in the future, but or soon. But no, I'm looking forward to it. Second show, last one went well with a few wee small issues, but I'm enjoying this side of boxing as well. So it's I'm really looking forward to it.
I was going to say, obviously, Gary Arthur's obviously in the card as well. Like when you sort
Right,
of
big
look at,
guy.
I was going to say, when you look at the card, obviously, you've two of your own signings. You've obviously Dan Anderson with obviously cathal. You obviously then James Tennyson obviously training David. You
Yeah,
Paddy Gall training Gary Arthur's. You've the Gunleys obviously with Jack O'Neill. Like it's keeping everything sort of combined. It's like the old with the new sort of thing. Like it's keeping a lot of names that's been about the Irish boxing scene for the last 10 or 15 years, all rekindling under the one sort of card.
yeah. Big Gary boxed at the SSE. It was my undercard, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, I think
I
so.
think it was. Yeah, and his debut, and he done very well in tickets. He boxed really well, and then he had a good win in Scotland also. So a, a good addition to the card. The feile is a perfect event from him. Like for him, he's from the road. So as we say, we're looking for guys like Gary, guys like Jack, guys like Theo even, and Jennings. We're looking for somebody that can that has that star potential. And for me, Theo's looked really good recently. He has a baby due, like myself. I have a baby due next week. He's not far behind. So soon enough, we're going to step him up into a title fight. But we're looking for that guy to take the next step.
Is it refreshing for you in some ways? Like I know you're still in the fight game and stuff like that, Paddy. Like we're not saying you're retired or anything like that, but like is it refreshing when if someone like Theo that looks up to you, some of a similar age and turn pro, Lex is the same. All these fighters now in the card are thinking of you. Like obviously I done an interview with John Boyd, and obviously he was saying about obviously you having your big knockers and stuff in the Devonish. Like how does it make you feel like still as a current pro? with all these new pros coming through that are all looking up to you as a big example with what you've done in your career. Like you've personally said, I've overachieved in
Yeah,
what I thought I was going to do. But like it obviously is a big confidence booster for you to know that all these new fighters coming through are looking at you as a new promoter on the block, the new kids on the block with a new promoter on the
yeah,
block. So it's tying them well, but it makes you feel really good for what you're doing.
yeah. I'm the new kid in the block in terms of like promoting and managing, but I'm now, although I'm only pro 7.5, 8 years, I'm an old head as a pro. So bringing my own experiences of fighting at the devenish and what needs done, and now looking at doing my own events and working closely with Colin Sports and whatever as well. Like I listen. It's nice to hear words from like fellow pros, and kind words. So I we were talking the other day and we were saying about boxing in Belfast has been through a transition period. You still have the anto cacaces and those crockers and stuff. Um, I don't know if Anto's going to fight in Belfast again. We would love to see him back, but his ambition may be different. I don't know. You have Lewis, who looks like he's going to fight here in September. But outside of that, all the other lads are kind of the back end of their careers, and we now need like the new wave of the True McKennas, of myself, of Tommy McCarthy. We need that new wave of potential headliners and co-main events and stuff like that, and that's what we're looking for with shows like this. And the guys that do really well on these shows will then push on to, if you look at the likes of Teo and Jack and Matty Borland and stuff, if you do well at selling tickets and you're fan friendly and you look good and speak good, then you walk onto these shows and then you walk onto these shows and doors open. So that's the route that I took, and that's the route we're looking for. That rough diamond, or the diamond in the rough, is what we're looking.
I guess, everybody's obviously now going to have the comparison where like we're going to have a heavy weekend in Belfast. Obviously, you're showing the Friday, Mark Dunlop showing the Saturday. Like it reminds me of sort of, I think just before COVID sort of kicked in. I remember we're at a stage. I think actually it happened before. I think uh, Ryan Burnett, I think, fought on a Friday night in the Ulster Hall, and then Mark Dunlop had a show in the Europa Hall on Saturday night. So like it's bringing us back like before COVID times. I guess it's a busy weekend for Irish boxing, busy weekend for Belfast boxing, but it shows that two shows can happen in the same weekend in the same city.
Yeah, well, listen, I think was it Boxing Ireland had a show in the Devenish, and there was a show in the Ulster Hall on the same night.
Yeah.
In June, just before COVID. Yeah.
February.
But it was just, sorry, no, but no, okay, maybe.
Because
But anyway,
I think Luke Keeler fought was at the end of January in the world title fight, and then a couple of days later was because it was Fitzy and Cully headlined in the Ulster Hall, and then I can't remember who was Eric Donovan. I think headlined, and then the Devonish at the same night.
okay. Yeah, listen, August from the first failure with Mick has been a popular date, and I've been involved in most of them, and I'm now involved in like the other side of it. But I've been aiming like for this date for probably a couple of months now, and it's just unfortunate that both shows like have fell like on the same date. But Murph has a great chance to win an EBU silver title on Mark show. But Belfast boxing's in a very healthy place, and small hall boxing is what's needed to progress the lads that are on Mang and Mark shows. So I think it is what it is. I think it's different demographics for both crowds, although all boxing fans, but different friends and family from different parts of the city. So I don't think it's going to do any harm.
I was going to sort of say there, it shows how healthy the sport is. Like when you can have two shows within 24 hours of each other, and there's plenty of boxing fans, whether they're casual fans, whether they're like myself and you that will use every excuse to get out of the house to go and watch boxing. Like there's plenty of fans all over, north and south that could even probably go to both shows. That's how much people are passionate about the sport. But that's there's no worries. Sort of the fact that two shows the same weekend, that one will sort of crash and one will go. Like both shows can have a very healthy weekend.
Yeah, that isn't that's that there's no intention of anybody or any show getting hurt. As I say, Merv has built a great fan base. They probably run a show on his own. He's an exciting fighter. He's now probably about like 12-0, probably
13-0.
11-0. Yeah. So and Mark always puts on the great shows, and then coming off the back of my own show the last time, my aim was always either the fate of the fate myself at the feile, but I just haven't been in the right frame of mind. And with baby coming as well, it just didn't work well. So, but the opportunity was there to work alongside the feile, and do a show, and we jumped at it.
How many feile shows? Like obviously, I can remember. I'm trying to think exactly because when I interviewed Sean McComb yesterday, I forgot of him making his debut in Windsor Park, and I can remember me and you about Windsor Park.
Yeah.
But like how many? Like you, the Steve Collins fight, you obviously headlined against Steve Woodall as well. How many feile shows have you fought on?
Gorkov.
Gorakov as well. Like, have you been in
And
every feile show?
well, no, I wasn't at the Tommy McCarthy main event in the old tent. I was there as a retired amateur, drunken, sitting watching it. But that Tommy was the first feile boxing event. And I can remember it must be 12 years ago, more probably. And then, but from the rebirth of boxing on the feile, yeah, I've been on every one.
So it's obviously it's fitting in some way that even though you're not going to be fighting in the card, you're actually going to be promoting the show as well.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, it's a great like full circle. When I first got announced on the first feile against Steve Collins Jr., it was like a pinch me moment, and again, small hall boxing, although I'm now promoting it. Again, it's similar. It's something that I never like foreseen coming, but we're here. And I have like a wee healthy stable that I'm happy with. I'm trying to keep that small, so I can like deliver for all the fighters. I don't want to overdo it and not be able to give the fighters what they need and want. But as I say, I have a good relationship with Colm Sports, who put on and work alongside some of the best the promoters in the sport and do their own thing as well. So hopefully they continue to help me grow as well. So I'm in a good position. I have options in and out of the ring. And August 1st is the next step.
I was just whenever you were talking there, I was thinking back to obviously the Steve Collins fight and obviously the celebration afterwards. I think you ran around in circles for about 10 minutes before you get dizzy.
Yeah.
But like you have a lot of great memories obviously down through the years in the feile shows. Like the feile, that probably the first one, the Steve Collins one was probably, I know it wasn't the fight that catapulted you to where you are now, but it helped you along the way, and that's what the feile shows can do.
Massively on the night, it was a much tougher fight than I expected. Like and going into the afternoon, it was nip and tuck. So pulling it out of the bag was a special moment. And if I hadn't done it like that night, then the rest wouldn't have been and wouldn't have happened. So it was a big moment, like in my career, and it's all led to what's came and gone.
When we spoke, obviously, when you were doing your last show, and it was sort of saying it was like a football manager sort of thing, obviously, you play in the game and obviously then understand that. Like, what would you say probably that you've probably learned the most of the promotional side that maybe people in the in the public sort of realm wouldn't sort of realize how tough it is? Like, what would you say from the promotional game probably you've learned the most where you're going, I didn't actually realize there was so much work involved with that?
Yeah, until recently, I probably would have agreed with a lot of the comments that I see online, like promoters sit back and rake it in, and it's unfortunately not true. Expect the unexpected. I flew over the world. I've be on flights fairly regularly, and I've never seen a cancelled flight. And things happen, and on the day of my show, I had two back-to-back cancelled flights, and that was like something that I'd never seen. So expect the unexpected. But getting over the line was a great moment. Seeing my logo and the Hammer Boxing logo, and my guy Theo main eventing in his fourth fight was it was a great night for myself. And looking about and seeing the hall filled and just soaking it in, it was a great feeling. Although, as I say, it's small hall boxing, but it's where 90% of the fighters start and have to start, and it's all part of the journey and part of the game.
Obviously, you had Tasha obviously helping you. It was a real family feeling for everybody. Obviously, all the friends and family all helping the last time. You probably won't have Tasha involved this time around. She made all the money for you on the night the last time around, but she'll probably be at home with a newborn at that stage. So you're probably going to need to put a vacancy out there for someone to take on Tasha's role.
Tasha and Megan, I hear they were like two bulldogs at the door. They not for having anybody in, but thankfully on the night the walk up on the door was great, and probably got the show in a healthier place with the walk up. But yeah, no, she's invested. She wants to come. She wants to do the like the same role with Megan. And we'll have the Emmons on the door again. It worked last time. There was nobody getting past Emmons, so they're reinstated to their roles.
Best bouncers in Belfast. Obviously another one of your signings, it obviously isn't in this card, but it's obviously featuring in a couple of weeks' time. Obviously Bernardo obviously is signed with you there as well. Like he sort of was obviously an amateur in Holy Trinity, sort of was away over in England, got his first fight back with you, and then I think obviously I guess a stoppage obviously helped, like similar to where you landed up. You got a good stoppage one, and obviously it catapulted you on. Same thing's happening with Bernardo now.
Yeah, listen, a very good amateur as well. He boxed the Commonwealth Games. He is very experienced. He came over and he fought and he done very well. He stopped the guy who very rarely gets stopped. With Bernardo, it's an interesting one. It's how do you build him? Where do you put him? He's now 5-0. He's stepping up the 6 rounds on Jay's show. So Jay's show's looking great with John Boyd main eventing. But he's a very exciting style. Bernardo can and will probably step up soon. Whether he fights it like welter or welter, that's the question. He's probably just caught in between the weights. But if he's moved right, and put in the right fights, I think we can get him in the British like title mix very, very soon.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of very healthy pros sort of coming on the scene. Like, you know, like I guess when you were first starting out, obviously as a pro in 2017, they look at how much depth there is. Like super bantamweight's ridiculously healthy, super middleweight, even sort of light heavyweight in some stages, and even like super welter as well. Like there's a lot of fights and a lot of fighters getting the title action, you know, which is very, very healthy for the sport.
Yeah, massively. When I was like coming through like the domestic level, like Steve Collins had to move down from like cruiserweight to get in the light heavyweight like mix, and then he moved down to super middleweight. There was very few about, and I had two domestic fights, but now looking at the super middleweight like division, like domestically, which the lads will move on soon. Like you've got Brannon Cronin, Cal Crawley, you've Big Tommy Hayde, like I'm sure there's a few others there, like, but it's very, very healthy, and they could even do like a small tournament. It's great to see, as you say, super bantamweight. You got guys there, and you could probably throw them in like a small tournament as well. But Irish boxing is looking very healthy, but we are slightly going through that stage where we need that sort of that star that's going to like build it for the next 5 years, like the likes of the McConlans, the likes of Ryan Burnett, who unfortunately it was cut short and only done it for a short period of time, but he then helped Frampton, Burnett, and the Colm, and the Crocker. So these guys are now with the biggest promoters in the game, and and they can fight over the world. But we need somebody that's going to hopefully base themselves in Belfast.
Ticket prices, obviously, on the poster, I don't see anything with ticket prices. What are ticket prices looking like for the
Yes,
show?
they are £40, £60, and £80 for ringside. So 40 for standing, 60 for unreserved seating, and 80 for ringside. They will be available through all the fighters. We're expecting a great night. All the fighters have started to get their orders in, and they're looking very healthy. So we're looking forward to an exciting night. It's now just about getting them matched up, getting them fit, and getting it promoted really well, and pushing on to the 1st of August.
I guess you want the second part of the first fight night, obviously just the fight night. You want everything from that to go through, like it was knockouts, Padraig McCrory to the knockout, Bernardo to knockout. You just don't want the day before they happen again. So you want part two with a different part one. They make obviously a complete card. You're very happy. You're coming away from it at the end and going, everything was a success. We've learned from the first show. We've got our second show out of the way now, and then we're ready to kick on our third one.
Yeah, listen, knockouts like mcreynolds and like Bernardo, they're things that bring eyes to the show, which is what you need. You need your show and brand to get seen and to get noticed, and it starts to bring a bit of hype. Boys out again soon. I'm looking forward to watching them on Jay's show. A very exciting prospect, and if the likes of Anto and stuff, they come back to Belfast, he's a shoe-in for a show and to show people what he can do. But yeah, I want them without anyone getting hurt, like obviously, but I do want that same type of night.
Definitely. Well, look, obviously, Paul, it's always great to catch up. It's not very often that we don't have a catch up and we don't speak too much about your own career, but obviously your own career is put to the side for the moment to get probably this fight card out of the way, and then maybe within that time you'll have the bug and maybe an offer will come in somewhere you can't refuse, and you'll be fighting Canelo and Riyadh. You just don't know.
I've had a few offers. I was offered a fight in Galway, and I was offered maybe a slot in Dublin as well. It just, the time isn't right, but I do and think I kind of know that I will fight again, and hopefully before the end of the year. I'm 37 in 2 weeks, so
you're nearly getting as old as me.
I'm catching up. I'm looking forward to the very last stages of my career, and I want to come back to Belfast, and I want to spend a night where I feel happy and content with all the people that have followed me and got me like where I need to be at. So that's what I would love.
You know what, when you're saying that, I'm going to myself, like, if you've had wins and not been happy, and obviously said to me, like, I owe a big performance to my fans. Like, I think you could become undisputed at 168 or 175, and you'd still say, I owe it to my fans, I owe them a big night.
£200. Solid £200. Listen, I think we'll be back. So as much as I'm enjoying working alongside Conlan Sports on a promotional role, they're still my manager, and I'm going to publicly call them out and say, get me a nice wee fight date. Thank you.
Well, look, Paul, obviously it's always a pleasure. Always have a good laugh and a joke. Obviously, great to see you get another show out there and helping keep Irish boxing going and the fighters going. Obviously, I'm no doubt I'll be torturing you throughout, as always. But I'm sure we'll no doubt catch up. You're probably in the Devenish a couple of weeks' time for Bernardo's fight and Jay's show. But thanks as always for your time, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Get behind the fighters, come and support them. They need them.
Cheers, buddy. Take care.
All the best, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thanks. Bye bye. Bye bye.